Welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever sat in a doctor's office and felt like they were speaking a completely different language? You're not alone. Well, today, we're going to hand you the secret decoder ring. Let's start cracking the code.
Okay, take a look at this. This is from a real medical report. A 13-year-old girl complains of malaise, polydipsia, polyuria, cephalalgia, and insomnia. I mean, for most of us, that's just a wall of confusing jargon, right? What does any of that even mean?
Yeah, if you're feeling a little lost right now, you are definitely not the only one. This language can feel like this big, intimidating barrier that's designed to keep us out. But what if I told you there's a system to it? A system that's way simpler than you think.
See, most people think you have to memorize thousands of these terms one by one, which is, well, it's a nightmare. But the secret isn't about memorization. It's about learning a system. So think of it less like trying to memorize a giant dictionary and more like playing with a simple set of Legos.
So, let's talk about these building blocks. Medical terms aren't just random sounds. They're actually constructed. And once you see how they're built, you can start to take them apart and understand them.
And here they are, our Lego blocks. Pretty much every complex medical term is built from just 3 possible parts. You've got a word root, a prefix that goes at the start, and a suffix that goes at the end. Let's break them down one by one. First up, the word root. This is the absolute foundation of the word. It's the main subject. You can think of it as answering the question, what part of the body are we talking about? A classic example is cardio, which just means heart. Simple enough. Next, we've got the prefix. This little guy gets attached to the front of the word root, and it acts kind of like an adjective. It modifies the meaning, telling you about location or time or maybe how many. For instance, the prefix epi means on top of. And finally, there's the suffix. This piece gets tacked onto the end of the root, and it tells you what's actually happening. It usually describes a procedure or condition or some kind of disorder. A super common one to know is itis, which simply means inflammation. Okay, so now you know the parts, but the real magic happens when you see how they create patterns. Seriously, learning just a few of these prefixes and suffixes can unlock hundreds of words for you almost instantly. Let me show you what I mean. Just look at this table. Once you know that itis means inflammation, you instantly get that gastritis is inflammation of the stomach. Makes sense, right? And if you learn that oma means tumor, then hepatoma is clearly a tumor of the liver. See the pattern? It's a code, and we're cracking it. And what's really fascinating is how a tiny change, sometimes just 1 or 2 letters in a prefix, can completely flip the entire meaning of a medical condition. Okay, check this out. Hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia. At a glance, they look almost identical. In both of them, the root glyc means sugar, and the suffix emia means a blood condition. The only difference is that prefix. Hyper means excessive or high. Hypo means deficient or low. So you have high blood sugar versus low blood sugar. 2 totally opposite conditions. And the only thing that tipped you off was that tiny little prefix. All right, you ready to put this all together? Time for the final boss. We're going to take a really long, really intimidating word and see if we can deconstruct it with our new toolkit. Okay, here it is. Gastroenterocolitis. I know, it looks like a monster, right? But don't freak out. You have the tools now. Just take a look and see if you can spot the different parts we've been talking about. Let's just pull it apart piece by piece, just like with our Legos. You can see it's actually built from a couple different root words, all strung together. And it ends with a suffix that should look pretty familiar by now. Okay, so here are the definitions for our pieces. Gastro means stomach. Entero refers to the small intestine. Col is the colon. And there at the very end is our old friend itis, which of course means inflammation. So you put it all together and voila! Gastroenterocolitis is just a fancy way of saying inflammation of the stomach, small intestine, and colon. See? That giant, scary word wasn't so scary after all. You just successfully translated medical. Now, I gotta be honest with you. This system is incredibly powerful, but it's not foolproof. There are some medical terms out there that are non-constructed, which means they don't actually follow these building block rules.
These are the exceptions to the rule that, unfortunately, you just have to memorize. They don't break down into those neat little parts. The two most common types you're going to run into are called eponyms and acronyms. So eponyms are terms named after a person, like Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And acronyms are words made from the first letters of a long phrase, things like LASIK or AIDS. But here's the good news. The vast majority of medical terms you will ever encounter are constructed using that awesome building block system we just learned.
So, the big takeaway here is this. You don't have to be intimidated by medical language anymore. It's not some secret code designed to confuse you. It's a system. It's a puzzle. And now you have the key. The only question left is, what will you unlock with it?